Hello everybody, I'm ShadowXX25 and I'm back with my thoughts on today's topic, the insert console has no games argument. Now, this is pretty self-explanatory, but for clarity's sake, the insert console has no games argument is when somebody talks about a console and then says it has no games. I know a lot of people use this more as a joke, but there are plenty of people that use it as a legitimate argument, and I find that argument to be, well, terrible. So that's why I'm covering it here. The two major targets for this that I hear are the PlayStation Vita and the Wii U, so those are the two examples I'll be using for my points later on. My first point is more of a clarification of arguments. Simply put, this argument is sometimes used in place of a very different argument. No games on this console interest me. I see a lot of people using these arguments as the same thing, or using the second argument to justify the first. However, that shouldn't be done, as the no games on this console interest me argument is very subjective, meaning just because you don't have an interest in the games on the console doesn't mean they don't exist. Take the Vita for example. Most of the games on the Vita are RPGs or anime games, meaning that unless you're very into those games, you may not get much out of the Vita. However, just because you don't like the selection does not mean you can simply say the Vita has no games, because that's factually wrong. My second point is multi-platform games. What do I mean? Well, put simply, just because a game is multi-platform does not mean it can't be counted as a positive towards a specific console. If a game is on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, it should still be able to be a positive for each system, despite it being on all three of them. Sure, there is the possibility of the versions being different from each other in terms of content or performance, but in those cases it still shouldn't weigh against the console. It should be on the game itself or the developers. Another connected topic to this, games that are exclusives for a while, but then get ported to other consoles. These are what I usually hear when people talk about this subject as a whole. A console was worth it, but then most of its exclusives got ported, so it's no longer worth it. This argument is kind of stupid as well, as the games being ported to other consoles does not erase the game's existence from the original console. It's still there, and it's still a good game. The Vita is a very big target for this, as a lot, and I mean a lot, of its exclusives have been ported to PC or PS4 within the past couple years. However, that doesn't mean that they aren't still games on the Vita. There are plenty of games that are as enjoyable on Vita as they are on the ported version, such as Gravity Rush. I've played both the original and the remaster, and I honestly don't think one is better than the other. However, there's not always a faithful port like that. Sometimes they're not done as well, making it much preferable to play it on the original console instead. An example from the Vita being Mine Zero. It's a rather enjoyable game on Vita, but on PC it's plagued with numerous problems, such as a 30 FPS lock, no adjustable resolution, failure to recognize most controllers, and so much more. And from what I've heard, there hasn't been much effort to fix any of these issues. All in all, I think this argument is a bad one. It is usually based on someone's personal opinion, and when it's not, it's usually combined with an argument that ignores the fact that games can be good or enjoyed on multiple different consoles, instead of just whichever console does it best. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, feel free to give it a like and give your own thoughts down below. See you all in the next video. Goodbye.